little bit of scatting going on there.
It's interesting. Not my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. I really don't love that. Yeah, there's something about jazz that just keeps going on and on and on. Isn't it freeform? Yes, it is. Okay, so we are here.
I love that intro, though. We had to do it.
Here. Design
Okay.
Meets Life. This is your go-to podcast for discerning enthusiasts of design, art, infotainment, and gossip in our distinct styles. Myself, designer, host, extravagant. What is that word? I like that
It's
word.
a new word we've just
Yes.
invented it. Children.
Yes.
Roll with it.
I'm going to hear alongside educator, reporter, and radio host from the booming voice, Luke Zabram.
What's up, everybody?
How
How
you
you
doing?
doing? Monthly and then later weekly, children. We're going to be bringing you news and interviews with some of the freshest creators, designers, and entertainers. And they're going to be breaking down how they use design and art and a barrel of laughs, because I had to include that, and bring joy and keep joy in your day in life. And Lord knows everybody needs a little bit more of that.
Right. Well, like always with our guests, we find out what, the why, and the when. Well, like art and design, like first affected them and how they changed their lives and how the creativity just flows through them to this very day. So we love
And
that.
on top of that, today, we're going to be hooking up with one of your husbands.
Yeah, isn't
Okay,
that fun?
it's her fake TV personality husband. In fact, Mark
Yes.
Candelaria,
Calendaria.
he's going to be joining us live in just a few minutes from Bulgaria to talk about some extraordinary design center journeys around the world that he's been doing.
Literally right now.
From
Yeah.
Bulgaria,
Yeah.
which incidentally let 16-year-olds vote in the European elections recently. That's interesting.
That is interesting. One way to get a vote.
What do you think about that? Can I ask you off the counter?
Well, I guess, I think they're too young unless they infuse them with politics like at the age of 10. I can't imagine that they know enough. They're just, maybe they don't have enough people.
Bulgaria, Malta, Greece, Austria, and Germany all let 16 and 17-year-olds vote this year.
I don't think that's correct.
It's an interesting thing, but I can guarantee you that Mr. Candelaria has been all around those countries. He's going to get to the brass tacks and get her going. Kels, I've got a few things to share on my layer
I'm
today.
sure you do. I can't wait. Your
I
layer is
always
always
do.
good. Here we go.
The layer changed, and I want to talk about the human-canine connection.
Oh, I like
If that's
this.
okay with you.
Yes, I love
Because
this.
it was I do more of a silly historical gambit or aspect on this one, but my lair rant is gonna be about the bears today. The
Okay.
four-legged bears. Now you are also a mother of children,
Yes,
of four-legged children.
furry babies, yes.
I'm just making her snappy voice, my dogs. This, we've discovered some things that we had to take care of, and we're taking care of them for my baby. And we had to postpone other things that we're supposed to get done because we have to take care of these things. And then a few
Health
weeks,
things.
health issues. Yes,
Yes.
health issues.
Yes.
Excuse me. Let's be
Yes.
specific. These are health issues. We're not trying to get her knocked up.
No.
And she had to get her teeth cleaned. So we did that 2 weeks ago. And of course, they had to put her on a round of antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
And the day after, she was all drugged up. And it was kind of funny. It's kind of funny. But it's not. But it's
Yeah.
kind of funny. She started her period because we were supposed to get that taken care of in March, but that's when they discovered the thing. So anyway, she's on the antibiotic. She's on her period. And when the day that it stops, which was a few days ago, were inundated here in our beautiful city of Barcelona where we record
Lots of
and cast from.
rain.
And we need it. But I
Lots
don't know
of
about your
rain.
babies because your babies are more house trained.
They are.
And mine is too to a certain point, but she loves to go out 4 or 5 times a day, and she would not, and she does not. So what does that do? If
She
you
doesn't
have
during the rain.
not in the rain, and so that blocks them up. So my girl ends up getting gastritis,
Oh, no.
and I spent again 2 of the 5 days of this week at the clinic, shelling out hundreds and hundreds as you do for the bears.
As you do.
And the thing about the human canine connection, I want to know because you are also the mother of 2 beautiful daughters.
Yes.
Our babies who are 4 legs cannot tell us
I know. That's the thing.
anything.
No, except for, there are obviously signs of pain or discomfort or this and that, and you know them, right? But there's something about it that they can't communicate. So you just are extra Johnny on the spot, right? Like you are flying around trying to help them because they can't communicate it. It's just so sad. It's so heartbreaking. It is.
For me,
You're like, what?
and
Yeah.
I'm one of those who has a bit of a fatalistic mentality. You know me. I
do.
don't go to the nth degree with negativity. I try not to go with negativity, but I do go like
Right.
something's happened. Oh no, I just know it's this.
Oh,
And
okay.
I
Well,
had them check her out for everything you can do. Pyromitra, cancer,
everything.
pancreatitis. And now I'll check them out for this. And thankfully her doctor is the one who gave her to me.
Okay.
And he's my dear friend. And so he's just like, okay.
You just need to
just
settle
did it.
down.
I
Settle
did it.
down.
Shout out. We're going to go see Pet Shop Boys together on the 13th. But,
Speaking of pets,
okay.
it's very ironic, don't you think?
I didn't even think about it. A little too ironic. And you really do think?
I'm just saying to go to the Pet Shop Boys with your vet. Of course you are. Where else are you? What other concert are you going to with them? Okay.
Okay, I've never thought of that. But that is
Hilarious.
our group together. And he, honestly, that's so stupid. I'm going to have to
is
tell him
so
that. I'm going to tell
dumb.
him that. Why the hell
You're
have
like,
we never
is there
talked
another
about this?
animal named band that we can go see? I
Okay,
don't know.
15 years he has been my vet through 2
Hilarious.
dogs and 2 cats now, my bears. But here's another thing.
Here's a fun fact for everybody if you didn't know.
There are now more pets in Spain and Catalonia than there are children.
Oh no, it's Barcelona for a reason.
Barcelona.
Isn't that cute? Before I came here, I of course, before I brought my dogs with me.
What
you
was
know,
that like?
Terrible. I'll never do it again. It's absolutely terrible. I mean, I can never say never, right? I might, I may,
Exactly.
you never know what you have to do. But it was not easy. It was 2 flights because they're French bulldogs, so they have the brachial face, and you can't. I would never put them under the plane anyway, but you can't. And so then you need somebody to travel with you because it's 1 dog per person, and then you have to break up the flight because it can't fly more than 8 hours. So it was such an ordeal. It really was. And the paperwork. Wow.
Cierto, because
wow.
you're flying from LA.
I had to go to the Food and Drug Administration in downtown Los Angeles to get like stacks of paperwork stamped that couldn't be not stamped more than 2 days before your flight. You know, you're just flying around trying to do so much stuff. And then when I got here, nobody looked at it. I was so mad. I was like, no. You need to look at my papers. You look, just pretend.
Scan that
Pretend,
chip
yeah,
right now.
exactly. Scanner, weigh them. Like I did everything to make sure that they were perfect, you know? Like I need you to look at these papers. Just pretend. Do me a favor because this was such an ordeal. Please.
My baby, when I moved here, had to fly underneath because she was too big.
Oh no.
So she was just over, like 1 pound over. And she was older. And when we got here, we discovered that she had a heart murmur. But because of her, they gave me special privilege to get off first, to go get her
Oh, yeah, for
first.
sure.
It was so
Yeah, yeah,
sweet.
yeah,
And
yeah.
but then nobody checked like I just walked into Spain.
I know. They don't check the paperwork.
Nobody stamped me from New York. And
I
was thinking,
flew
well,
from New York as well. So I had to fly to LA, New
what?
York here. Yeah.
But I said, "What?" And the dog, and they said, "I see." And they took her and scanned the chip.
Okay, well, that
And
was
we
nice.
just walked in.
Yeah, we didn't even do that. I didn't even get
And it was so odd because I didn't have it helped out later in my getting legal status here. But 'cause when did you
You
get
had a
here?
chip?
I don't know.
You have a chip? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have a chip on my shoulder.
Maybe.
I do this morning. Let me tell you why I have a chip on my shoulder this
Talk
morning.
to us. What's in Kelly's?
It's so weird. I really, really, really hate confrontations so very much that I think I go from like 0 to 100, which you know, really quickly because I really dislike confrontation. Hence the reason I dropped out of law school. So, okay, so I live in a building with 100-year-old elevator or more than 100-year-old. Like the elevator itself, the mechanism, no. Okay, let me just clarify. Small elevator, it has 3 doors that must be closed in order to actually have the elevator function.
Okay.
And
yes.
so it stops on a certain level, not mine, and I can see it down there. I know the door is left open, right? And I also know that there's 1 unit in our building that is a rental, like a short-term rental, which drives me absolutely crazy.
Oh, so is it the clandestine Airbnb thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is one. And so it's always some circle ground of people that don't know how to function. The elevator doesn't function, right? So long story short.
Because common sense.
No, they just don't have it. So I walk down the stairs, no big deal. I can do the stairs. But the woman above me is in a wheelchair. She cannot do the stairs. So I'm already mad. By the time I get down there, I'm just mad because I know Maria cannot make it. She can't come down the stairs, right? And she doesn't know where it is, the elevator. So I go outside, push the button to confront the person in the unit. And she's telling me that we're a local, we're this, we always close the door. I'm like, well, you didn't. Today you didn't. So can you be more conscious when your guests arrive?
And you said that to her.
I did.
Hells to the yeah.
And I said it in English, and she goes, well, we're a local. I said, I'm a local. What's that got to do with anything? You're a local who doesn't know how to close a door. There you right? That's basically what like what does that even mean? I don't even know. So anyway, I don't know why that got me so riled up, but the confrontation just does. It like sticks with me for a few minutes.
Can I make a guess as to why?
Yeah.
I think it's because, and I just mentioned it, there's this pervasive, more modern lack of common sense that
Maybe,
people
yeah.
do not seem to think. Maybe it's because they're consistently. And I'm
Maybe.
trying not to do
Yeah,
that
I was gonna say.
specifically when we're recording.
Exactly.
But the idea of common sense is not so common anymore.
That's true.
And this type of things, and then there's this defensive manner because everybody has this chip on the shoulder, or I am my own movie with my, and so we were creating these little mini egocentrics.
Well, I think it was also the pushback that I got from her. We're a local. And I said, yeah, I know there's just some kids in the building that if you see them on your floor, because it could be them, to tell them to actually close the doors. That would be super helpful. When we rent out the unit, whoever the heck it is. And she goes, well, I think it's the 4th or 5th floor. I'm like, no, listen to what I'm saying to you. I just walked by your floor and the elevator's doors were wide open.
And did you tell her there's a yaya that can't?
I did. And she's like,
Hello?
thank
That's
you.
grandma for our international
Exactly,
audience. Excuse
exactly.
me.
And I got the sass, thank you. Okay, great. You have a good day. I was like, ooh, I see you. It's just rude. Like, just say, oh, wow,
May I
so
ask the
sorry.
age?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. She told me she has a 3-year-old, so I do know they're also the people that slam the front door. Whatever. Okay, so, there's just some issues sometimes when you live in a big building, but the common sense issue, I guess it was that. And then why push back when it's information. And sometimes it happens. You just go, oh, sorry, thank you. That's all you have to say.
Exactly.
Push back? Why?
Like with my grandma downstairs. Because of the...
Righteousness? Is it righteousness? What is it? Why are we pushing back on this? We all know how annoying it is. Just say, oh, wow, sorry.
Is it righteousness? Is it that I am always right?
Or just don't tell me that I'm wrong. I don't think it's always that I'm always right, but definitely don't point out when something's been wrong. Something's wrong.
I think if people's lives have been designed to always give them that favor, and it's pervasive, specifically with us in the West.
Yeah.
If we grow up in a certain way, we do have that mentality.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And so when you're in a different country, do you let it out more here, or do
No.
you let it out more there?
More there.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because I think it's a language barrier for me. I don't assume that
right.
people will understand me. My Spanish has gotten much better, but I'm not really, I'm not fluent in chewing people out in Spanish yet. So I'm pretty reserved. They think I'm nice here.
And I am.
Speaking of nice, I just want to talk about the television husband that I have that's going to join us today.
Yes, exactly.
He is so fantastic. Okay. Extravagant Spaces is the name of our show. We've shot 1 season for the Design Network. We're talking about season 2, which I'm super, super excited because he is just phenomenal. Got to know him, of course, very, very quickly. We spent the week together. And he is amazing. You can catch the show on Rakuten, Pluto, Apple TV, and of course, on the YouTube channel for the Design Network, Extravagant Spaces. But Mark Candelaria, he is so fantastic. My TV husband, I ran into him not long ago, also at High Point Market. I actually heard his voice in the room. I was like, my husband is here. And his real life wife is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. She's also an interior designer.
As well.
Izzy, I love her. Yes, she's beautiful. He is the principal of Candelaria Design. The homes, okay, you just have to see the homes that he creates and designs and builds. His eye is exceptional, and we'll talk about that a little bit. He started the firm in 1999 in Phoenix, Arizona, working for another architect. He grew it to include he is really one of the best in the business because of his reputation. Like, people know who he is. Especially in the U.S. Mark and his team spend many hours in their community. He loves to volunteer and give back, which we're going to hear about. He's just such a warm, wonderful wonderful woman. I was thinking of his
You
wife.
are.
Thank you. I was actually thinking of the couple when I was talking about them, and I was thinking about her. They are so incredible hosts. We'll talk about that also. He has a podcast, Inspired Living, which we identify
Hell
with.
yes, exactly.
And maybe we can join his. That would be fun.
That'd be lovely.
I know. And really, like, the things that he does to create, like the homes that we toured, and I noticed over and over and over again, he has such an aesthetic and such a great eye and understands what people want to experience in their homes. Design psychology, like, he is so good. Like, if there's a view or if there's a view or vista, I was actually going to say it in a different way. Same thing. If there is something that you want to feel in the home, he does an extensive interview, walks the property with the clients. They feel the property together.
Is that the essence of the design psychology that you guys do?
100%. 100%. But he starts, starting with him is the best case scenario, right?
Okay.
Because you are actually starting with the man who's going to create the walls and make my job 1,000 times easier. So I cannot wait to talk to him. Hopefully we have him here.
Está aquí,
soon.
señor.
See
Está Okay, let's get these babies on.
So excited.
All right.
There he is.
Hey. Can you hear us, sir?
I hear you perfectly. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Awesome. I enjoyed your conversation. I've been here for a while. You guys have a lot of fun.
We do.
In and out of
By
this
the way,
studio.
I have two cats from Catalonia.
Oh, see?
And
Your family.
There you go. See? There's many reasons. They
Yeah,
also call
see?
it Scatalonia for dog reasons here, but that's a whole other story.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you so much for joining us on Design Meets Live, because I finally get to meet Kelly's husband that she talks about all
My
the time.
work husband.
Her work husband, excuse me.
Yeah.
Now, a question. Can we start with questions? Can we just dive in there, sir?
Yeah, dive in.
Okay.
I love it.
Now,
Let's go. Let's roll.
Because we were just talking about all the places that you've done, so much work that you've done around the world. Where did that incredible creative journey begin when you were younger? Like, did you have a moment where you said, okay, this is it, I got to do this one?
I kind of just morphed into it. I started designing homes when I was about 5 years old. My mom used to drag me to model homes every Sunday because my dad would be at the Denver Bronco game. And so I'd get the brochures. I'd sit there and listen to the salesman shtick. I learned the whole thing. By the time I was 6, I had this big field behind our house, and I'd subdivide it and then sell the lots to my relatives when they come into town. And then the next time they came, I had a Lego model to sell them. I was always selling them. I was a little entrepreneur from day one.
Where did you grow up?
It always involved architecture. Denver, Colorado.
In Denver. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful spot. And so, so funny. I just caught your Instagram, and people can follow you. Give a shout out to your Instagram handle. What is that?
It's M Candelaria Arc.
There you go.
ARC.
For
H,
architect.
I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Architect. Yeah.
Yes, for architect. And Mark is traveling right now, and we'll get to that in a minute. But you were singing, and I was saying, okay,
Yes.
so you can catch a little of his operatic voice on our episodes. You can catch him singing all the time on his Instagram. But you have so many creative pursuits. You're such a creative person. You're a chef. You love to sing. And we find this with a lot of our guests who are creative that have so many different outlets, right?
Yeah.
They do other creative things really well. Do you think that keeping one skill honed helps all the other skills? How do they connect to you?
That's interesting. I think for me, it comes down to just a bad case of ADD. I just love to move around. I get bored. And so it's like, I love to paint. I love to cook. I love to play the piano. I love to sing. I mean, I just have to keep filling my ADD situation with creativity. And it's wonderful. I love it.
Who threw you into doing all that when you were younger? The singing, the piano playing, that? Because you have to learn. No, I wonder.
I actually learned most of everything on my own. I actually never went to architecture school. I just started working for one of my professors, dropped out, and learned the old-fashioned way by apprenticeship. And, art and painting, I took classes in junior high school, but that was it. And I just kept learning on my own, So I
Wow.
always tell people there's no excuse. There's no excuse for anything. It's just get in there and start doing it.
That is absolutely okay. I'm sorry, but I have been through some of your homes, and to think that you don't have formal training, which, to your point, formal training and education. Like I have a marketing degree. Can I just tell you how outdated it is? Completely is. Like we're not talking about ad sales, right? You know, I mean, it's a very,
Right.
it's a whole
It's a
different
whole
world.
ballgame. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
whole complete different world right now compared to when I was in school. So maybe what you would have learned back then wasn't applicable now, right? Especially with technology. Do you find
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
do you hire younger to help you through it, or do you just hit the books, hit the net? What do you do to keep yourself sharp?
I just basically what I'm doing right now is I love to travel. I love traveling and just absorbing things, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. There's just, as a designer, you're always emptying the bucket. And it's so nice to have the opportunity to fill the bucket. And I find travel is that opportunity that fills my bucket. So I, I'm kind of a travel junkie at this point. I have a trip on my calendar virtually every month. And with work now, it's so great because you guys are in Barcelona, I'm here in Bosnia of all places. I'm communicating with my clients on a daily basis, and I can virtually work anywhere with my iPad and my tools, and I can draw anywhere, and it's amazing how the world has changed in that regard.
What's
Totally.
filling you up in Bosnia right now? What are you thinking? Like, what are you experiencing as you walk around there?
Well, it's been really interesting. As Kelly knows, my wife is a two-time breast cancer survivor. And so through that whole process, she became very spiritual. I've always had my own spirituality within myself, but she's now involved me in what she's learning and the people that she's been around with. And so it's a whole nother level. And this last year, we've been to Fatima. We went to Lourdes, France in January, and now we're here in Medjugorje in Bosnia. And it's amazing.
Fantastic. And so this spiritual journey is taking you around, but it's also filling you up in a different way, right? Do you think that what you're experiencing now through this new way of traveling with a new lens, I should say, is that going to change your architecture, do you think?
Cutting out on you guys a little bit.
Uh-oh. Can you hear us
You
now?
know what I'm I hear you. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We broke up for a little bit there. Um, I think you mentioned earlier, when I walk the site with the clients and try to understand what is it that, God has given me with the site. And there's been so many things that I feel like I've just done kind of not knowing what I was really doing. And I'm learning that, especially now with what's happening with AI and all the technology, I think people are clamoring and searching for soulfulness in everything now. I think everything's going to become so mechanical and so technical and so disassociated with the human soul that I think as an architect, what I want to do is re-engage that aspect of soulfulness, whether it's the view that you're looking at and taking in nature or the interior that you're creating. It should resonate with your soul and it should be about you and whatever it is that makes you tick.
Love it.
I am so, excuse me for
You're moved,
interrupting. I'm
right?
very, but I'm relieved to hear a man say these kinds of things because it's not very often that, and Kelly knows how annoyingly spiritually based my life is sometimes. And it's not very often that we hear certain men of certain, calibers saying things like that. This is going to go off the script from the next question, but what was it just your wife's survival of cancer that led you down that more spiritual path or to a deeper research of it?
Yeah, I've actually always, like I said, been spiritual. I actually wanted to be a priest at the same time I was the young architect. I used to design a lot of churches and then bring my friends over, and I'd build a whole altar in my basement. And my favorite part of the whole mass was collections, and so
You're hilarious.
I've always had that part of my of that aspect. But now
My
just being
parents
involved
too.
with her prayer group now, it's brought so much sharper focus to that spirituality, and it's made me more aware of its impact and everything that I have been doing, and now I think I can do it even at a higher level.
I love this. This is so great. Well, the two of you are such incredible hosts. And again, this is out of order and off the script a bit. But after we got through filming, and the second I met his wife, I just adored her. She truly is like walking light. That's how I can describe her. There truly is no other way.
Totally.
She is that
Yeah.
person. I don't think there's a bad cell in her body, meaning evil or mean. She is just like so sweet and kind and lovely, and she just like almost floats.
Is it an attitude of gratitude?
I call her my angel on
She
earth.
is. She really,
Yes.
really is. I adored her. And like for the first second I met her, she held my hands. You know, she's one of those people when you meet, she grabs your hands, both of them, and she's looking at you intently. And I was like, okay, I love her. I love this woman. I don't know. I met her 3 seconds. I adore her. And so after we got through filming, and it was so much fun, and she's an incredible designer as well. She's got a beautiful, she's got a beautiful eye. And so the two of them, when they work together, they create something beautiful. So check out the show. And
Yeah, I have a question about that later.
yeah,
too.
exactly. Please check out the
Okay.
show because you can see Iz in one of the episodes. But then they took us to their house. And Mark is an incredible chef, made some beautiful food, opened his doors. They both did. We were listening to piano. We were singing songs. We just had barbecued and enjoyed the company. And what a night. And I know you love doing that. So how is that part of your process? Because I know you have an incredible even kitchen in your office. How does that part of the process
Yeah,
for you?
it really started from our tours. I actually started virtually a tour company out of our company. We take people to Italy, Spain, now Oaxaca, Mexico. We just had a tour. And during one of our Italy tours, we had a cooking class in the little farmhouses that we were staying in. And I just witnessed such connectivity with people when they were cooking and eating food and just what happens. It's always the most magical part of the trip. And it used to be on a Wednesday. And now we've moved it to versus virtually the second day of the trip because it just builds this huge bond. And it happened that night when you guys came over.
Totally.
I mean, it was just such a bonding element. And so Isabel and I always like to say, not only do we want to fill people's bellies, but we want to fill their souls too.
Oh, boy, do you.
to
Boy,
that.
I will never forget that night, actually. It was
Yeah.
it was so moving, and it was such a bonding experience. You're right. Like that. And I know you wanted to do it at the beginning of us filming. I'm sure before season 2, I would love to do that at the beginning just to reconnect with the two of
Yeah.
you. Cause it was really, really wonderful. Let's
fun.
talk about the tours. Let's talk about where you go
Yeah.
and what you're doing.
Well, real excited. This year, our Italy tour, which is in September, will be our 25th tour that we've done over the
Wow.
last 25 years.
Okay.
And this year's tour is made up completely of veteran travelers that have been on my tours before. So for me, it's gonna be great because I don't have to worry about any newbies. I've got all veterans. I've got one person that's been on 9 of my tours. And so they're not all clients. Everyone goes, "Oh, you take clients?" I said, "No, they're open to everyone." I've had people as far away as Australia sign up for my trip and meet us in Florence.
Great.
And so it's just a mix of people. The one thing I have learned, though, using food again, is I do a pre-trip dinner about a month, 2 months before the trip, just to make sure I've got the right mix of people. And I've had to weed out a few over the years
How do
because it's
you
just so
do
critical.
that?
Yeah. How do
How
you
do
do
you
that?
get them
Everyone asks me
out?
that question, and the 2 times that happened, I knew who they needed to be, but they actually came to me right after the evening and said, I don't think this trip is for us. I said, no worries, no worries. Here's your money back, no
Okay.
problem.
Okay, well,
So,
that's interesting. So you're basically giving them
yep,
a little preview of how the trip will be. We like wine. We're going to be drinking it. We like to
Right.
eat
It's like
this. We're
fun.
going to be doing this, right? This is
that's
how this
exactly
is going to
right.
go. That's good.
And it breaks the ice. So the first day of the trip, everyone already knows each other. It just boom, you just flow right
Yes.
into it. So it's been one of those great things. And then of course we do a post-trip dinner, which is always
Fun.
I always ask everyone, what's the best part of the trip? We go to Italy, we go to Spain. I mean, they're beautiful places, but you know what everybody says? The friendships that we made.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
the best part of the trip that everyone remembers. And I've got people that have been on that first trip 25 years ago that are best friends now. One was a multimillionaire, and another guy was an electrical subcontractor. They're
Love
best
it.
buddies.
I love it.
Would have never happened in ordinary life. So little things like that just has made it really a rewarding thing for me, and obviously the people that have been on the trip.
I love that.
You mentioned the cooking and the culinary thing, and I have 2 questions now. One of them would have been, you mentioned Oaxaca, Mexico, you mentioned Spain, you mentioned Italy. And I'm wondering, do you feel like in our country, the ones that the three of us hail from, that we've lost a
Yep.
little bit of that culture that goes into the creation of food, what it means in a more kinetic level when you're going with people? We eat out, there seems to be more of a quick fix, fast food, pick up, go society, go, go, go. Certainly in New York, you run by the salad bar, you pick up something and a thing, you go. And
Right.
here, like we take 3 hours for lunch. Kelly and I are going to go
Oh
for
no,
a
I
five
love
hour
that.
lunch right now.
We will. We will sit at
At
And you
least
don't
a couple
start
of hours.
We will.
and you don't start dinner till 9 o'clock at night. I
At
And
mean,
the
finish at
earliest.
midnight. Amen.
At the earliest. Yeah.
yeah.
How
Yeah.
did that
And
get
you go and there's
lost?
kids, there's grandmother, there's everyone's out there at, 11 o'clock at night. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, this is amazing.
It is.
I don't know how we're just in too much of a hurry in America. Even when you go to a nice restaurant,
U.S.,
it's
yeah.
like, you look, I see people watching their watch on their phone. It's like, how soon can I get out of here? Well, why didn't we even come here if you're so worried about how soon you're going to get out?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I love about coming to Europe is just, and even Mexico is the same thing, is there's time, time is different. It's just different,
It
People want to
is.
connect. They want to be together and they want to enjoy the moment. And I love that.
Y la comida de Oaxaca, the food of Oaxaca, the cheese from.
Oh,
My father's Mexican, so I've got that in
everything.
my blood. And when you take these people on these tours, because I wasn't really so aware of the tour. Um,
We're going.
okay, this is what they.
Oh,
Like,
I
I'm
tell
meeting you
guys
there.
would love it. I
When
would
are you
love to have
going?
you on that tour.
When are you going?
The Italy tour is sold out this year, but we've got an amazing tour next year. We're doing Paris to Bordeaux to San Sebastian,
Okay, there you go.
and I'm bringing one of my favorite chefs who also does tours, and his wife is from France. All his tours are in France. He has an amazing wine collection,
I
so he's got
like
all these
this.
beautiful spots that we're going to stay in Bordeaux,
Well, maybe I
and
should
so
invite my
I'm
parents on this.
super
This
excited
is
about
a
this
fall.
trip.
This might sound like my dad, your
daddy.
dad too. Yeah,
Straight
that's all he
up.
wants to do is go to
Yeah.
Bordeaux and just drink wine and
My
travel
father
around.
just hiked there, and
Yeah.
he's hiking. He's on the Camino de Santiago
He's doing
right
the
now.
Camino. Yeah.
One of the beautiful
Oh,
things
perfect,
about
perfect.
it is, especially for he's such a trooper. Watching you and Lady K on Extravagant Spaces, and I'm going to get a shout out because remember when the episode airs on Rakuten and Pluto TV and Design Network, you
Yeah.
can also catch it on YouTube afterwards, at least snippets of it.
Yes.
You have
No, the
such
whole
a
thing.
the whole thing,
Whole thing.
The whole thing,
Yeah.
Children of the Corn. You have such a range of architectural styles that the both of you, come off of, and you seem to master a lot of them. How do you immerse yourself in the different styles, especially now that we know, because I didn't know at the beginning, that you did not even have the formal training that so many people do?
Well, I took a lot of pre-architecture classes. I got accepted to the School of Architecture. I just got married and dropped out and started working for one of my professors, as I said. So,
Yeah.
Love it.
after that, it was just absorbing myself in books and reading and traveling,
Yeah.
and I had enough of a foundation to understand all the different styles. And it's pretty much endless. You just keep filling the tank with more information and more details. And, you know, one of my former wives, I've been married 3 times, so I've got a few back there. She goes, "You got more pictures. You got more pictures of cornice and stone details than you do of your kids." Probably
Yes.
probably true,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but I've got a lot of my kids too.
Yeah. I do understand
But
that.
I just absorb. I just go around and study it and get the essence of it, and I love it. I love just it's endless. It's just you learn. I learn every day on my job, and that's the other thing that I love. People ask me when are you going to retire. I said never. Why would I retire? I'm having
Yeah.
way too much fun.
Yeah.
Do you gravitate towards a particular style? When
No,
Okay.
people ask me that all the time too. Do you have a favorite style? And I really don't. I keep trying to think that maybe I do, but I really don't. It's like, do you have a favorite child? It's the same
Right.
question, and
Yes,
I
there's
don't.
always a favorite.
I love
No, there is
I love
not.
them
The
all.
love
They're
is the
they're all
same.
unique.
But there's a
Yeah.
favorite.
No, I love them all. I love from contemporary to mountain style to French chateaus, and we're doing them all right now. We got if you look on the boards of what we have on
I'm
our
sure.
project list, it's a wide range. It's awesome.
You know what I think is so wonderful, especially in the area that you are in, Scottsdale, Arizona, in the U.S. of A. Yeah, that's where
Sandra Bernhard.
it's absolutely beautiful, but it also lends itself to these incredible properties that just you start from the ground up. So you have these opportunities. Would your clients come to you with just a packet of stuff like, make this, or do they give you free reign? How does it normally work?
Oh no, I tend to work with people that definitely know what they want to do. Some of them don't know how to put it all together, but they have, this as a designer, Kelly. I mean, they
Yes.
have pictures and they, with Pinterest and everything now, it's a plethora of data that they give you, and really our job is to sort it all out and make some sense of it, because I'll have clients that'll bring me a whole wide range of things, and I'm like, are you really sure you know what style you're after here? And we go, we don't. We need your help. We like this, we like this, we like this. And sometimes it's almost a mixture. You just create this. It's like, and I always use cooking as a perfect metaphor. You get all these ingredients and you create a recipe. And I found that the simpler you keep that recipe, the better it usually is. So it's less is more, as is, the saying goes. So a lot of times it's just weeding it out and getting to the essence of what's really the 3 or 4 or 5 top ingredients, and just work with those.
Oh, that's really interesting. And do you do remodels ever, or is it always new construction?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. And that's another misnomer is, I would say at least half, if not even 2/3 of our work is remodels and additions.
Got it.
So it's our big bread and butter. I mean, we're doing 20, 40,000. You saw 64,000. I've got a 64,000 square
Square
foot
feet.
house I'm working on now.
Okay, well,
But
let's
at the same
translate
time,
that
I'm doing
to meters really quick. So
that's
we're
an acre and a half.
no, to meters. So that's 64,000 square feet is 6,400, just very basic, 6,400 square meters. Okay, that's just so people
There
can
you go.
add the
Oh
zero.
my gosh.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
It's
is my second house that large.
it's
Actually, my
Okay.
third. I forgot of one. How could I have done that? It's my third.
Have you had nightmare clients? Have you had anyone that like divorced after, like you did this house
Oh
and
my
then
gosh. Yeah, I've had a client once that through the process got divorced, remarried, divorced, and
no?
remarried, and I had to redesign the house
Yeah,
through
each
that whole
time.
period.
Each time.
Each time.
Oh my.
Each time.
Okay, so you're like
It's a
me.
TV series right there.
That is a TV series right there. But you were like me though, Mark. So I used to joke. At one point, I had single male clients, just maybe 8 single male clients, which
Yeah.
they're the easiest to work with, right? Because I'm your muse. But please don't
Right.
bring in the girlfriends. And in this case, you had wives. I say if they don't have a ring, I'm not listening to what they have to say about the design.
Well,
It's
I had a project. Listen to this. I had a project where the client was married, but he also had a mistress, and we never knew who was going to show up in which meeting,
Oh my
my
because he
nerves.
wanted
my.
them. He wanted them to both have input into the house.
No.
Did they know? Did either of them know that the other was giving input? Chinga
Nope.
madre. Excuse me. That is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Let me just tell you that house
That is
that house
ridiculous.
never did get built.
No.
It never did get resolved, and so
Because it
I,
wasn't
I
solid
always tell people, here's my fee, you guys. My fee is this if I'm an architect.
Yeah, what
My
is it?
fee is this
For
if I'm your
therapist?
architect, marriage counselor, therapist, and
Yes.
people go, oh, we want the big package.
Yeah, we need it
Well,
all. They do though.
Because you guys are design psychologists, so I'm
Right.
stiffing off script. Have you
Totally.
found yourself that you become people's therapist?
Yes.
Because I work in education,
Oh,
I
yeah,
become everybody's
absolutely.
therapist.
Yes, yes.
I'm convinced I'm more of a therapist than I am an architect sometimes with a lot of projects.
So
And
true.
doesn't spirituality and the things you've survived help you with this now, especially now?
It's definitely helping even more. Exactly.
Do
Wow.
you do
So-
affirmations and meditations out of curiosity? I have to ask.
Yeah. In fact, that's what we've been doing here. I just got off Cross Mountain here in Bosnia. It was a 5-hour hike. I'm totally wiped out today. After that, we got up at 5 a.m. and did it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And then we met one of the ladies here that has been having the apparitions for, I don't know, since the 90s. She has them every day or every month. I can't remember. But
When you
yeah,
say that, what do you
we
mean,
personally met her.
She's seeing.
Well, she actually she sees Mother Mary. Mother Mary talks to her,
Wow.
and they've had scientists check her, and they go, "Yeah, I don't know exactly who she's talking to, but
she's
she's
talking to
talking to somebody."
Wow. That's
Yeah.
I love stories like this.
Like an oracle of sorts.
Yeah, almost.
It's
Madonna.
you can't, like I said, the Lord has been fabulous, CC, and now Maggicore, and all those places. I always feel the spirit. I always feel the Holy Spirit. It's just like I try to be not to, but I still feel it. I'm just like, okay, there is something here. And what was really interesting the other day, we were looking at the latitude of Medjugorje and Assisi and Lourdes, and they're almost all in the same latitude.
Oh,
Interesting.
that's
So it's like,
interesting.
yeah,
Is
and
it
just
like
driving
Sedona?
around here.
Is
Ooh,
Sedona on the
I
same?
haven't checked. I
ooh,
haven't checked Sedona. I
I
think we're
could
further
feel
north than
that.
Sedona.
Yeah.
Have you been to
Yeah,
Santiago de Compostela
I have
yet?
not been to
Okay,
Santiago.
all right.
No.
He'll make it
Maybe
on
that
his
too.
Well,
Well,
that's
next.
the other problem I
since we're
find.
talking about this, what about your trip to Bosnia? What's next for you in the firm and next travels? And can I ask you about the
Well,
food in Bosnia?
Yeah.
yeah, well, that's pretty much it's actually pretty good. It's very Italian inspired. I mean, a lot of
Really?
meats, a lot of pasta,
Okay.
pizza. So it's I feel like I'm in Italy. I feel like virtually I'm in Assisi. It's just
Ah.
it feels
Madonna. Okay.
exactly like Assisi to me.
Oh, wow.
So it's nice. People are super nice, and it's really interesting to know that there was a huge war here just 20 years
Hmm.
ago,
Yes.
and to kind of feel the vibe of that and just what that was all about. It's just it's sad that people have to go through all that to get to where they are when you drive around here today, and it's beautiful and people are friendly. It's like
Yeah.
why do we go through all that? But anyway,
Right.
that's a whole nother
That
podcast, I
is a
guess.
whole other podcast.
Right?
But you seeing the beauty of what's happening around you in Bosnia and obviously traveling to Europe and different places. What I'm just so curious. So, what have you sketched or are taking with you from Bosnia that you're going to bring home?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's just the feeling and the love of the group that we're with.
Mm.
I met a father yesterday. We went to this beautiful river, and I did my first confession in about 40 years.
Okay.
And yeah, I asked him when he first started. I said, "How much time do you have?" He's like, "This might take a while," but he goes, "No, let's just focus on the big ones, and we'll get you on our way." So, but it just felt so wonderful to kind of get rid of
Mm.
that baggage and weight, and
Yeah.
I don't want to get too religious on everybody here, but
Yeah.
it was just a great feeling. So, to me, it's just
Well, you're
I want to come away with a good feeling, and I've already achieved that.
I think that's the whole point of religion for people, right? Is that if it makes them feel good, then that's the point, right? They go forth as a
Well, and
good
have a better
human.
connection with the
With the higher
good connect,
power.
Yeah,
better connection with the creator and just God. It's like
it's great.
it's good.
That's so good.
It's interesting because you're speaking to a pastor's son right now. You don't know that, but you
Yeah,
Okay,
are.
I do. Yes,
And
we go
my
down these journeys quite often.
and it's interesting because
gotcha.
I had no idea. So
Right.
as I'm hearing that again, that's for me. This is actually its own sign. So I'm supposed to be here right now. Thank you,
That's
Kelly, for making this happen in
Yeah,
my
there you
day.
go.
that's right.
Seriously,
That's
especially
right.
after this
Yeah.
week. Do you have dogs?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Animals.
my
I know.
nerves. The Firm. I love that you called it The Firm. I'm not kidding. I was probably 12 when that book came out, and I was obsessed with John
Oh
Grisham.
yeah, that's right. The firm.
Why did you call it The Firm? In Phoenix,
I,
Arizona, when you started the architect firm, why did you call it The Firm?
well, that's the word I always heard architects' offices being
Yeah,
called is
Okay.
architectural
absolutely.
firm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just adapted it, and that's I kind of look at my office. Meredith no longer with us,
Yes.
Kelly. I don't know if you knew
Yes,
that.
I do.
Um,
She branched out on her
and so
own.
she's
Yeah.
gone off on her own to create her own firm,
Mm-hmm.
and I sent her off in a very positive way. We're
Mm-hmm.
very good friends, and I wish her only the best.
She's great.
But it's now an opportunity for a lot of the young people, just like I had that opportunity when I was 23. I became a partner when I was 27,
That's
you know?
great.
Wow.
And so it's an opportunity for the young people in our firm to, make their mark on what we do going forward. So it's a process. It's always been that way.
How do you see their work ethic of our younger generation?
I it's actually pretty darn good.
Okay.
My only pet peeve is the working from home thing. I I get it a little bit, but I don't. We try to let people work from home maybe one day a week.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much that happens in the creative process that you can't do over Zoom or on the phone. You got to be working with each other and sitting there talking to each other, and things spontaneously happen when you're physically next to someone. That does not happen when you're on Zoom. I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen.
We try. We are completely international, right? So at Renati, which we're working with, art antiques around the world,
Yeah,
and so it is. It is a challenge. We have to spend many hours. We actually feel trying to feel like we're together. So you'll appreciate this. Sometimes I know this is going to sound strange, and we're talking about food, but sometimes we'll order and eat the same food at the same
yeah.
time,
So you
so that we actually are sharing, something that's kind of
a virtual
similar.
dinner.
Yeah, but just like
That's
so
kinetic. I like
it's
that.
kinetic,
I like
right?
that
So
a lot.
you're
Yeah,
having the same thing. Okay, everyone, we're ordering lasagna. Even mine's going to
right.
taste better because
Yeah, I was gonna say, but
mine's
her
going to taste a little better.
lasagna, I can't.
It is good, isn't it?
Speaking of which,
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
I
I'll
want
make you one.
more.
I'll make you one. But like say we all eating the same thing or having the same thing to drink or whatever, but we're creating sort of this as much as we possibly can digitally because we are so
Yeah,
spread out. The creative process does change when you're in the same space, and I completely
yeah.
understand that.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. I like that. I like that idea. I'll have to try that with a client because all my clients in the summer leave Phoenix. So
Cheers.
I'm gonna see if we can schedule a meeting with dinner, and
Yeah.
we'll all bring the same dinner. I love that idea. That's cool.
Yeah, and you know what? Another thing
She's
too.
designed her life like that.
I've designed my life. That's right. Trying to make it as
Yep.
creative as possible and as kinetic as possible.
Darn right.
And it's also interesting too. For clients, we'll do this. And so maybe here's another idea: is we send them a meal so it can come from the same type of restaurant or exact same restaurant if you can do it.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. So they're getting what you are getting. You sit down together and you can actually have the same meal. So it's kind
That's
of
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that fits right into our
I think
little
it does.
system. So
I think it
yeah,
does.
perfect. I love it.
I mean, there's so many things that you're doing that are so incredible. And I was just thinking about your style. So I want to go back to when you're walking through a space because design psychology, as you mentioned, is such a big deal for the two of us and how we operate. But to be able to start from the ground up is ideal. That for me
Yeah.
is ideal because you can get into the head of your client so well. What is it about walking around the space? You're so good at the view. So tell me what you do when you first scout a space.
Well, when you say space, I think sight.
That's what I
So I'm
meant.
thinking,
That's what I meant. Yeah,
yes,
for
I'm
you,
thinking
sight.
outdoors, and yes. So what I tell people, what forms my houses or my clients' houses is really two things: the site and the list of needs or wants that the client has. It's the merge of those two things, and it's my job to merge those in a way that blends them just perfectly, or as much as I possibly can. Let's just put it that way. So we go out to the site. I like to look at the views, just the feeling, and again, I've been doing a lot of reading on just the nature of the soul of the site and connecting with that. Not just the views, but where is their energy? And I don't want to get into feng shui and all that stuff, but it's just how does it feel? When you walk around, the site, what do you feel? And I like to just ask my clients that, like, we're over here now. Do you like this part of your property? Or, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? And walk around here. And they go, wow, I never thought about this. And then they go, I actually do feel something. That's so weird that you brought this up. And the thing I try to tell people when they design a house from scratch, especially, is take time. You have one shot to get it right, and you're going to live in this thing. Who knows, 5 years, 20 years. With people today, you never know.
Yeah.
But the house will be there for probably 20, 30, 50, maybe 100 years if I'm lucky. So I tell people take the time to do it right because once it's done, what is created is going to affect how you live and more importantly, how you feel every single day. So don't just rush it and try to get it done. Make it part of this journey, make this part of this creative experience. So that even adds to that whole factor. Like, I loved creating this. I love that day we walked on the site and all those things become part of the subconscious of the house that you end up creating for somebody.
Oh my gosh. I just
Well said.
didn't you just walk around a site with him and just go, okay.
Well, part of me, and as we were walking around that site,
Yeah.
in my mind, I was thinking, is
Yeah.
there a way, almost like Does it bring you joy? Let me not say her name. Does
Yeah.
it bring you
Right,
joy?
right,
Does this space
right.
bring you joy, happiness, peace, contentment, whatever? My father's
Yeah.
really big
And
on
then,
that
as
too.
the process goes, we eventually stake out the site, the floor plan on the site. And if it's two-story, we bring ladders or scaffolding this to, basically
Hmm.
get my client up there and let them look at the site from that
Oh,
Oh
perspective
my God,
and
right.
walk around. So
yeah.
if we have a window right here, but
Hmm.
look, if we just shift this window, and it's a combination now with, obviously we can do it on site, but we also have the technology with our modeling, dropping the model into Google Earth, and now AI. I mean, there's so many
Mm,
Hmm.
tools that we just need the time to use them all to their capability
right.
to create the best piece of architecture that really resonates with the end user. But take the time to do it. Make sure you've looked at every option, every angle, every sun angle, every breeze. you know
Right.
get
And
it right.
how do
you
you
know
do that? I mean, that's over a year because we all know the sun changes so much, right? From winter to
yeah,
summer, the
yeah,
angles, where you're going to get your light, where you're not. I mean, wow.
yeah. With SketchUp and some of the computer simulation, we can basically show you what the sun will do every minute of every day of the year. And we'll spend
Wow.
usually a week just simulating all those different things with the house we've done. Say, okay, we need to change this, or we need to put a shade pocket here, or we got a tree here that'll block that out around 5, 6 o'clock when the sun's banging on your TV.
Good job.
Don't worry about it. We got you covered.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. Now you go back later and we take photos on that moment at that day and compare it to the still image from the model and go, spot
Dead
on.
on.
Look at that. It's dead on,
And
you know?
that is so important. I don't think that people realize all of these things. I think that they just see a picture, you've seen the plans that you can buy ready to go online or
Yeah.
whatever, right? And there's just no
Yeah.
consideration whatsoever
Oh wow,
of
Right.
the
really?
view, the sun, and how you want to feel. Let's go back to that for 1 second because feng shui is like not my favorite. We've had this conversation so many times because I just think it's your stomach, right? It's how you feel.
Yeah.
It's your gut reaction to
Yeah.
things and trying to make rules out of that, right? But
Right.
if you didn't have a term for it, let's pretend like it doesn't exist. And you're just paying attention to your gut and how you feel in certain areas.
Hmm.
How incredible to be able to pick where you want to wake up, the
Hmm.
view that
Right.
you're looking at when you wake up, because you can think back to any places that you've lived where you're not thriving in this space, you're not feeling good in this space, your relationship was not at its peak, your
Right.
business was not at its peak, you were not at your finest. And a lot of this, which people don't realize, but after the pandemic, they do more than they ever did.
Oh,
But
yeah.
right,
I agree with you.
right,
Yep.
you and I used to have these conversations
There
with
was a
people.
big awakening with the pandemic.
Hmm.
Exactly. Now you don't have to try
Yeah.
and convince them
Hmm.
how important
No.
their surroundings
Naomi
are.
Campbell was right.
What?
Yeah.
We'll talk after the
Okay,
show.
I'm like,
But she
what?
was actually said some poignant things about the pandemic, but whatever.
But it's truly like it was a thing for us to try to explain this concept. It was so weird and foreign, right? They would just go, I just want a colonial. Can you just put this
Right.
here?
Just how soon will it be ready?
Right. And now
Right.
they're giving you some levity, some leeway to actually create what they want feeling wise, right? How
Right.
different are your
Right.
clients now after the pandemic?
Very much. They're very different. And again, with the AI coming on, where like,
This is my question.
the AI can basically you put all your prompts into the AI and it creates a floor plan for you in an hour. You
Wow.
know, the problem is, did it walk the site? Did it have the meeting with the hillside committee that's going to give you grief for 24 years? All those other factors still
The
require the
city.
service of an architect. Yeah.
Right.
So okay, so
And so
may I
all these other
please
things.
ask
Yeah.
because we've
Yeah.
talked about it a couple times because
Y-
of a show title, but how do you
Right.
feel with the prospect of artificial intelligence working in your medium for the future?
I think ultimately it's going to become just more of a tool that
Okay.
allows, like for me, I use it to, generate ideas and generate renderings and visuals. Like instead of going to Pinterest and picking
Mm-hmm.
things that have already been created
Right.
and done, I can write prompts that only I can write because I know the things that are important to me or to my client. It'll generate an image. I can then change that image a little bit, and it takes me a matter of minutes versus, creating a whole model, doing renderings that takes months. I can do this in a few minutes. And all of a sudden I have 20 images that I can show my client. Here's from the images you gave me, here's what I think we're looking at. And they go, "Oh my gosh, this is it. You did it, or
I
or I
love
don't
it.
like that, or I don't like this. Well, let me show you I can change that right here, right now." And then it's still up to us to put it all together.
Right. Right.
I think if an AI puts a floor plan together, it's again going to be this soulless piece of architecture. And you see so many buildings. My wife and I talk about this all the time. Oh, that's a CAD building. That's a CAD building. That's, it has no soul at all. And to think you want to live in one of those, but just
What's a
like I
CAD
have so many
building?
clients going, don't give me,
It's a
it just looks
program,
like it was just popped.
computer aided
It's out of,
program. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just,
Yeah,
it was just popped out. No
made.
And
design
your
time,
eye
no
can tell
art.
that.
Because
love it.
because
Oh
of
yeah.
because of
love
what he does is you can tell that if there is a view or vista like many in Scottsdale, why on God's green earth is there not a window here? Right? So it's just slapped on there. There was no thought, there was no any forethought about the sun, about the view, about who's living there, what needs to happen here. Do you like to cook? All the things that you
Right.
do.
And that's where the remodels become such a challenge
Oh,
because now you're
sure.
dealing with something that's already built. And now I want to infuse all these things that are
Like they
important to
showed
me. The
earlier.
view, it's like, okay, we gotta get this window over here and we gotta do this. And when people see the befores and afters of what we've created
Yeah.
and just the flow, it's it's amazing. I mean, it's such a difference. And it floors me on how bad some floor plans are and some houses are. Just like, oh my God, what were they
What
thinking
were they
here?
thinking?
You
U.S.
know?
Homes.
I think that you and I are gonna call Jason up
Child.
after this and pitch a design psychology show based on this. We'll do it together, right? Because
Yes,
I mean it's our thing, it's our jam. I've written books on it. You live it and breathe it. Like this is what we do,
yeah,
right? But I love
exactly.
what you're saying. And there's so much to people just don't realize. Well, they do now. They realize now, and AI, it's funny, Mark. I know you add images on your Instagram. I put AI inspired images on my Instagram and sometimes I get pushback, mostly from interior
Yeah.
designers. And they really, or people going, is this a real place? No, it's
No.
it's not. And just like the Pinterest pictures that you have that you will never walk
Yeah.
through, just like the
Yeah.
inspiration
What's the
photos,
difference?
there is no difference. There is zero
Yeah, there's no
difference.
difference. It's just you use a different tool to create the image.
Exactly. It's all for
That's all.
inspiration. That's the point of it.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I love
We,
that.
when I say we, me, the client, the designer, the landscape, we still have to create what we are ultimately going to be creating for this particular client. It's all of us. It's teamwork.
Totally. And let's talk
So,
about that a little bit too. So, in your firm, do you extend beyond the house into the exterior, or do you enlist
oh
other
yeah.
good creatives?
No, it's a collaboration. Like I love to work with a whole slew of different designers, be it interior designers, be it my wife,
Yeah.
be it landscape architects, lighting designers. It's a collaboration. And a lot of architects don't let landscape architects come into their interior space. And a lot of landscape architects don't let architects go into their exterior space. And the teams I work with, we cross boundaries. It's all free game, and I love it. I don't. My ego's not like, don't touch my stuff. It's like, no, tell me what you're thinking. I want this to work all the way through and through. And so it's totally collaborative the way I like to work with everybody.
Okay, so speaking of that really quick, just take 30 seconds and tell me, do you see more of the exterior coming inside? I'm seeing more terrariums. I'm seeing more indoor gardens. What's happening? Do you see any of that?
Yeah, we're actually doing a house like that where we have kind of an interior courtyard. What I've learned about interior courtyards, though, is you always have to have a way for the gardener to get into it without going into the house.
Okay,
So
people don't think of this stuff.
you do not landlock, and there's so many in the 70s. There are these landlocked terrariums, like, oh my God, you
Yeah.
know,
Who's
the
maintaining
landscape
this?
crew has to, yeah, the landscape crew has to come through your living room to blow the leaves around. It's like, so we always
Fantastic.
Ah,
we
the
always create a
70s.
little access way where they can come and go and do their thing, and not bother anybody.
Oh my
So,
goodness. We're talking about
but we do
thousands
that.
of
We
square
like to
feet.
bring, we like to bring the
Okay.
outside in. So,
Oh, that's excellent. I
for
love
sure.
that. I love that.
Oh, Mark, thank you so much for joining us and taking this hour because we've already extended your time and for listening to us at the beginning as well.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I enjoyed listening. Now I know where you are. I'm going to be listening to you a lot more.
Exactly. And even though your Italy trip is booked, you might find us in the restaurant just sitting there on the other side, right?
We like
That
food
that has
too.
happened before. I've had people show up like, "What are you doing?" Well, we knew you're going to be here. We wanted to
Hi,
kind
we
of just
wanna say
merge
hi.
in.
Yeah. So listen,
Yeah,
I
it'd
have
be awesome. Hey, what
yes, go ahead.
I was just saying one more pitch. I'd
Yes.
love to just promote my book,
Yes,
Mark
please.
Candelaria Homes. You can find it on Barnes and Noble, Walmart, on our
Excellent.
website.
Hell yeah.
Check it
It's
out.
so
There's
beautiful.
12 amazing houses, couple that we featured in our extravagant spaces,
Yes.
and 12 recipes.
Oh,
As
So,
well.
yay. Yes.
Love
Isn't
it.
that nice?
yes, it's a coffee
Beautiful
table /
melange.
cookbook.
I love that. Okay, so I have to ask the question that I usually ask, where do you feel most creative? Give me one space that you just feel the most creative in.
Oh, I feel the most creative when I'm traveling, to be honest with you. It's not
Excellent.
like I start drawing and doing things, but I just absorb.
Yes.
And it always shows me more than I can be doing. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm lazy. I need to do more here. I need to do this. Look at that detail. So I just go crazy.
Love it.
Well
Mark,
said.
thank you so much for joining us. We could not have spent a better hour, I don't think,
And I
ever.
really, you
That
know
was
what? I
fun.
really love the spiritual angle that
So
we
did
took
I.
throughout as well as this. And
Yeah.
I'm going to follow you on Instagram and send you a message, sir. Thank you so much
Awesome,
for
my
being
friends.
here.
Good seeing you. Good seeing you, Kelly.
You too. Thank you so much. Love
Love
to
you, my
Izzy.
friend.
Yes,
Love
mad
you
love to
too.
Isabel.
Okay.
Ciao, ciao.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Well, here we go. Wrapping up. Thank
Wrapping
you so
this
much.
up. That was so nice. We took a
Hell
little
to
journey,
the,
didn't we?
Candelaria. Wow. So remember, you can also follow him he said M Candelaria Arc
Yes.
at Instagram as well.
Yes,
All right, folks.
yes.
And we'll be shipping up and shaping that up with a bunch of links and things to go in the future as we prepare to finally launch.
Everything you do in your life is designed by you, for you, and others. So when you start to see your world as something you're designing, it brings a whole new sense of awareness and happiness. What do you think?
I think we need a lot more of that in our lives, and we'll be back next time, same bat time and channel, for more goodness for your ears and eyes holes on YouTube, because you can catch there. Until then, keep yourself loved and loving and happy, everybody. Bye. Design your life for you, children.
Bye.